Good morning. This is the time set for case D. On C, first of all, can we have counsel make your appearance?
Good morning, Your Honor. Richard Schonfeld, appearing on behalf of the plaintiff.
And we have Mr. Can you hear me, Mr.?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. The defendant in proper person, present by blue jeans.
All right. The court finds that the order shortening time that was granted was served electronically on the defendant on May 3rd, 2023. Really, this issue was handled last year, so I don't know why we're here.
Agreed, Your Honor.
So I've read your opposition, and there's no merit to your opposition. Nobody's arguing that you're not entitled to all of the travel details once the travel arrangements are made. You are not given the authority to consent to her travel at all, nor is she given the authority to consent to you traveling. My understanding, and makes sense based on the facts of this case, that you travel often on your time to see your parents in Ohio, and that makes sense. And she doesn't have a veto right over that as long as it's your custodial time. And the same thing with her. She wants to use her custodial time. And the way I set up your summers was specifically meant to benefit you, sir, so you had a block of time to travel and spend with your family in Ohio, and your son had time to spend with his grandparents, but mom has equal amount of time and anticipated that she would use that, possibly use that to travel. So I'm granting mom's motion, and we can just set Mr. Schonfeld, let's just do a standing order that she is allowed to travel on her custodial time with the minor child without a travel letter from dad. She's still under obligation, as both parents are, to provide full itinerary and details 14 days before travel. And I'm going to have to award attorney's fees and costs because she shouldn't have had to file this motion.
I didn't oppose her traveling. I just asked for the dates of the travel. And then I also said that I would sign off if the dates changed again. I don't see the purpose of signing off on a letter that doesn't have the dates of travel. I mean, the concern more is that I don't even know if that would get you through the border. If you just say he's able to travel for the entirety of the summer. And the countries given were France and Europe.
England and France.
Okay,
Very specific. It was.
It says something different in another paper.
Your Honor, the court has found that Mr. is frivolous. It was frivolous. There was absolutely no need for the court to have to waste time hearing this motion. The order that I will submit pursuant to the court's request will be a standing order that my client is permitted to travel out of the country with a minor child during her visitation time without having a consent form signed by Mr. For out-of-country travel, you would provide a 14-day itinerary 14 days in advance of said travel.
Right, and that's a mutual order because dad has authority to travel internationally. I mean, the only thing would be that a parent, I want to make sure that if one parent is trying to travel with him to someplace like the state of Sinaloa in Mexico, which is on the do not travel warning, that they have time to file a motion. But where she's proposing to travel in Europe is not something that he would have any basis to file a motion or object to, but it's just a power and control issue. So both parties have the right to travel on their custodial time. That is a limitation, that they can only take their set custodial time to do that. And that I set the summer custodial schedule very specifically so both parents have a big block of time to be able to travel with their son, whether it's to Ohio to visit family or internationally or wherever, Hawaii for whatever vacation plans that they want to make with their son, that they have adequate time to do that and a deadline by which to be back so that we don't have any problems with that. So I think I've already entered orders in this case regarding the Brunzell factors. So I would just incorporate those. How much, Mr. Schonfeld, how much did your client incur for the motion, the hearing today, and the order? What is the requested amount of fees?
Your Honor, just 1 hour, $500 is what I was going to send an invoice for.
Okay, that $500 is granted, incorporate the prior findings I made in this case regarding, Brunzel and the parties, also the difference in their income. Based upon the last finding disclosure forms, the difference in their income is a lot less than it used to be. But it's appropriate for that $500, and that's awarded and reduced to judgment. And then I'll close this case upon entry of that order, and then we won't have to deal with this next summer. Yes?
Your Honor, does the order go both ways? Is this an order that I can travel without a consent from him, or it goes both ways? Nobody needs a travel consent.
It goes both ways. That you're limited by your custodial time. So if Dad has the opportunity to even just take him to Canada, they can go to Canada pretty easily from Ohio. Then he can do that, and he doesn't need a travel letter as long as it's his custodial time. So that way, you guys don't need to come back to court again on this issue. My goal always with these high conflict cases is to reduce the points of contention that there can be. And that's why you guys have the most specific summer schedule I've done in any case in 2.5 years. So I'm trying to reduce points of conflict between you. All right?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Richard?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all. Good luck.